But adding Conemaugh Hospital in for MAPD, I think to me is a really great move because I think it fills out that network where they've had a number of hospitals, but it's sort of like that piece right in the middle that like ties it all together.
Yeah, Conemaugh is huge, and for an agent to have that in your portfolio, that just is a whole new opportunity.
Insurance agents of the senior market, happy Friday. It's 7 a.m. on January 29th. Glad to be able to get with you today. Coming with me is Kristen. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 9 days to the big game.
I know.
Yeah, so I was wondering about this. We were talking about having people over to watch the game.
Right.
How do you usually do that? Like, is it usually big? Maybe it's smaller this year because of COVID, but like in ordinary times, like are you doing a party at your house? You going somewhere? Like, how's that work for you?
Yeah, so, well, there's two scenarios, ordinary times with the Steelers or without the Steelers in the Super Bowl. So let's just say ordinary times, no Steelers. We usually get together with another family and have kind of like a dinner party. This year it'll just be my clan.
Yeah.
Probably overcooking, overeating, looking for the commercials.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a huge commercial person. We usually have 2 or 3 families that join us for the game. But I'm the person that everyone gets upset with because as soon as the game stops, I'm like, shh, commercials are on.
Right.
Yes, I'm like, I want to see the commercials. I really want to hear them. But that actually is a really good segue because don't miss out on our commercial. You have 9 days till the big game. Make sure that you are tuned in and ready for the Neishloss Fleming commercial, which will be hitting during the big game on February 7th. So also big news that you and I were talking about is Conemaugh Hospital.
I know.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, yeah, the big news is this January, UnitedHealthcare announced that Conemaugh Hospital is part of their network for all of their Medicare Advantage plans, and that's in Western PA, kind of, I guess, is it mid-state almost, the mountainous area? What would you call that?
Well, it's weird because, like, I want to say Central PA. But like, you know, is Central PA State College? Is it Harrisburg? Like, do you consider Bedford Central PA? Like, I think I would. I think like once you get like east of like Ligonier and Greensburg, I feel like that's Central Pennsylvania.
Yes, I would agree. It kind of goes into that 6-county area, right? That's what we're talking about.
Well, and that's not a small area either. I mean, when you're talking about like Somerset, Bedford, Blair, Huntington, Cambria County, like that section in South Central Pennsylvania. What were you telling me the other day? There's a really large amount of Medicare beneficiaries there.
Over 65,000 Medicare beneficiaries in that area. And if you think about some of the cities, for those of you who know Pennsylvania or you're interested in knowing that market, the 2 kind of big names up there are Altoona and Johnstown. And I think at some point they were like number 11 as far as the populous cities in Pennsylvania. So they're up there with some population, definitely skewing a little older with over 65,000, so a great opportunity.
Yeah, and for those of you who may not be aware, Johnstown is the actual set from the original Slapshot movie with Paul Newman. So those of you that are big hockey fans, if you've watched Slapshot, Johnstown, PA was where it was filmed. The arena where they filmed all the shots is actually the Johnstown War Memorial Arena. So, and they have a Slapshot museum there if you'd like to check it out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's
now it's something to do when I go next time.
Yeah, no, well, and with my son playing hockey, I've been there a bunch of times. It's a really cool thing if you're into hockey. So, but adding Conemaugh Hospital in for MAPD, I think to me is a really great move because I think it fills out that network where they've had a number of hospitals, but it's sort of like that piece right in the middle that like ties it all together. Yeah,
Conemaugh is huge. They have a big provider base. Tons of people know it. It's a name up there. They're a very large employer in the area. And so when you go into 2021 and you've added that to your portfolio, you are really making a statement and coming into that area. And for an agent to have that in your portfolio, that just is a whole new opportunity. MA has not been available there before with UnitedHealthcare, so a fresh carrier is welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And Conemaugh is joining a host of other hospital systems that are up there. and I think we've got a slide on it. Ryan's going to hit us with it. But specifically, you've got UPMC Bedford, Penn Highlands, UPMC Somerset, and UPMC Altoona. So you've got 3 of those UPMC kind of hospital systems that are kind of anchors to those areas. Penn Highlands, and then you toss Conemaugh in there as well. And that's a really strong network for United to be bringing, specifically as you were saying, because they had been there with the dual SNP product for a little while, but finally got the MAPD products to follow it for 2021.
Yeah, so you're there with just one product, right? You're really not offering the whole portfolio. So they have a footprint in there. Quite honestly, the D-SNP's been successful there. So having that little bit of success and now rolling in with the other plans and a very robust network makes them quite competitive.
Yeah. Well, and tell me this, because in a prior life you had spent some time working with UnitedHealthcare and had agents working in that market. For our agents that are also there, was it a scenario where the network was okay without Conemaugh, but now it's great, or was it like, you just couldn't sell without having it?
It was okay without it, but definitely this is a big step forward to have Conemaugh in there for sure. Yeah. You need to have the full picture to appeal to everybody.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. So specifically about UnitedHealthcare with their MAPD product for 21, obviously now adding Conemaugh, being in a position where they've really got broad network value in that 5-county market with all of those Medicare recipients that you talked about. I think 65,000.
Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of product, what do you think if we were to say to our agents that are there, the 2 products that they really need to focus on for their traditional non-Medicaid consumers? What are you thinking that those are?
Yes, if you take your duals out of the picture, right? I think this year the zero premium plans were really strong, almost no matter where you went. But so if you're new in the area, you've got this great network. Why not talk about the HMO1, which is the zero premium plan?
Yep.
It's really got everything that someone would be looking for. And I do think we have it up on the board here.
Yep.
Low co-pays, low out-of-pocket maximum. It's a great value. The over-the-counter benefit is strong with $50 a quarter. People really like that. If you're already in there with the dual, the dual has a presence, so they're used to that over-the-counter catalog. They've seen it. Oh, I'm not eligible for it. Now you are.
Yep. And I guess maybe just because without having Conemaugh, I don't know that I spent a lot of time looking at the UnitedHealthcare Plan 1 in that market. Like when I was looking at that area, because most of what our agents were generating out of there was the Highmark Community Blue product, UPMC Zero product, the Aetna Zero, I think it was the Silver plan in that area. And specific to United, it was like, okay, they don't have Conemaugh, they're really not able to participate here like, dollar for dollar in terms of the network, or apples to apples, I guess I should be saying. But when we were talking about, the announcement about Conemaugh, and I started taking a look at, okay, well now where does UHC sit, where they're kind of in a network neutral position. That Plan 1 is really strong.
It is.
And the other thing that I think is really intriguing about it is with the hearing aid benefit. Because that hearing aid benefit that United has is really best in class in terms of offering like legit high-end hearing aids at a copay level.
Real hearing aid, yeah.
Yeah. And now granted, not everybody that you talk to needs a hearing aid, but there are probably more people that need the hearing aids than actually would acknowledge they need the hearing aids.
Absolutely, and more people, who maybe not admitting that they need it. I know, it's a very desired benefit. People seek after the product for that benefit.
Yeah, and that was really one of the neatest things that United has done, really, I think in my time working in the Medicare Advantage business, is they didn't just throw dollars in terms of lower copays at something. They went out and bought a company to be able to offer these hearing aids at a copay level. One of my favorite stories that I used to tell at training meetings was to kind of emphasize the cost of hearing aids. Used to be about my former father-in-law who took my son to the driving range. He claimed that his hearing aids impacted him when he swung a golf club. So he would take his hearing aids out, leave them in the cup holder, and then either go play golf or hit balls at the range and then put them back in. Well, he had this convertible Mazda Miata. He left the hearing aids in there. It rained, and it was raining so hard that the cup holder filled with water and blew him up.
Oh no!
And I see him the next day. He's telling the story. I'm like, Oh,
Are they ruined? They're ruined, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were ruined. And I just said, well, how's the car? Like, you're talking about the hearing aids, like, how's the car after it got redone? And he just looked at me and he said, the hearing aids cost more than the car.
I believe it. I will up your story because my mother-in-law, one fell out on my driveway. I had to sweep it with a broom for a day to find it. But I found it and it still worked. Yeah. So I know it's very serious. Yeah. It's an often benefit people don't like to talk about. They just like to go get it, right? Yep. And I guarantee more people than do need that benefit or are using the benefit that maybe are acknowledging it up front.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you on that.
But yeah, but just to kind of circle back, I do think you're right that United did it the right way. They went and bought a good company. They invested the right way, and they're putting forth a first-class benefit there.
Yeah, and in many markets that we deal with across the country, that benefit really drives enrollment.
Yes.
Because the value of, like, and that's why I think it's not apparent to agents all the time. It's like, okay, I've got a $395 copay for a hearing aid. Well, it doesn't sound as good as I get $1,500 or $2,000 towards hearing aid somewhere else until you think about that hearing aid that you're probably looking to buy might cost $5,000 or $6,000.
Right.
So do you want to pay $395 on a copay, or do you want to pay like another $3,000 to $4,000? It's a real game changer.
Yeah, agents might want to add that to their their intake questionnaire when you're assessing someone's needs. Hey, do you use a hearing aid? Have you thought about it? It might be a good opener.
Yeah. Well, and the other product up there in that market that I think is really worth looking at is the $35 PPO product that, again, is kind of newer in a lot of markets. But that particular product, I think it's really important because at least for me, when I'm selling in the field, which doesn't happen as often now as it used to, but I always like to come in with one plan at 0 and one plan that was like 50 and under, just so that the consumer felt like they had a choice.
Almost bookends, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at two options here.
Do you want something a little bit more robust? Like maybe if they look at the 0 and it's like, oh, this copay feels a little high for me. Oh, well, I have this product that is a little bit more per month, and the copay is less. So do you want to pay $35 to get it? And even if they ended up taking the 0, at least they felt like, you know what, I feel better about this copay now because I don't want to pay $35 to have it be less. And it was interesting. I saw that happen so many times where initially it was like, no, that copay is too high. And then when offered the option of, oh, well, I guess I got to pay $35 or $45 or $50 a month to have it be less, I think I'm okay with this copay the way it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to show your client the both ends of the spectrum, or at least a spectrum, right? Instead of just saying, no, you need the 0. But also, what I like about this plan is United brought in a PPO, and really in this market, we haven't really been talking about PPOs very often. So I think that it's a good conversation to have. I have seen some agents use this plan, this AEP, for some of their clients who maybe have been priced out of a Med Sup, or they were debating between a Med Sup and an MA plan, they weren't sure. The PPO gives them that little comfort of the flexibility, whether they use it or not, to go out of the network. It's the peace of mind, perhaps, that they like with that. So I think it has a little more meat to it than perhaps your normal HMO plan.
Yeah, and I think your point about PPO is a good one in that it gives people some of that peace of mind. Yeah. And we haven't really, at least in the Western and that portion of Central PA, talked about PPO a lot. Like it's been primarily HMO products for a very long time. Now, if you're getting to like Harrisburg, York, Lancaster, like Reading, that area, that's very much PPO territory. Yeah. But specific to that Altoona, Johnstown area, that 5-county kind of surrounding area, including Bedford, mostly been HMO product because the network has been so strong where it's like if you have the Allegheny Health System network and UPMC, for the most part that covers just about everybody.
Yeah, you're set.
Yeah, and now great, you've got Penn Highlands and you've got Conemaugh that operate in that area, but there hasn't been a whole lot of reason to need PPO, but sometimes it's like one of those perceived values. It's like, oh, well, if I wanted to, I could. And sometimes that's enough to make someone say, yeah, I want to buy that product.
Yeah, it's peace of mind, right? And you can't put a price on that. Some people just want it, and it makes them feel better, and that's a good step into the product for them.
Yeah, I think the analogy, which is kind of ridiculous, but I make ridiculous analogies all day, every day, so this shouldn't be a big shocker.
Let's hear it.
Is, it's like my SUV. It's like when I was looking at it and getting ready to buy it, the salesman was like, you know what, you can drive this through a river.
Oh.
And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, like, you can just take it, drive it through a river, like up to 3 feet, and it won't flood out the engine. I was like, wow, like that's, okay. I was questioning now I'm sold. You know how many times I've driven through more than 2 inches of water with that car? Like never. But it was the
but
whole.
You can.
But I can.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like sometimes if you've got a PPO and someone, I mean, realistically speaking, it's not like one of their doctors they're going to see on a regular basis is out of the network. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's kind of that principle of, oh, well, I could drive through a river if I could. Oh, well, I could go see a doctor outside of my network for non-emergency care if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that what if scenario makes you feel a little better.
Yeah. You know what? The next time I have a Medicare appointment, that's how I'll talk about PPO. I'll be like, have you ever wanted an SUV that you could drive through a river? Okay, well, that's a PPO for you.
That's right.
So, hey, well, this has been great. Hopefully our agents in central Pennsylvania kind of get on this and jump on board. If you've got questions about any of the UnitedHealthcare plans in central Pennsylvania, I'm going to do some Ryan magic. I'm going to wave my fingers, and all of a sudden here comes Kristen's email address, khankinson@neishloss.com. Make sure that you reach out to Kristen to answer any of your questions about UnitedHealthcare, their plans in that market, the Conemaugh Health System, and that addition to the UnitedHealthcare network. We'll make sure to take care of it. So we will see you next on Monday, February 1st at 7 a.m. This is Kristen, I'm Bill, and this has been Near and Far. Have a great day, guys.